You are not going to believe what is coming out of the Port Orange Police Department. The agency is training their officers to shoot citizens if someone says the word gun. And on top of that, less importantly, but stupid, they're training their officers to use temple index, which means walk around and hold your firearm up here, up to your face. And one officer, Officer Riviera, doesn't like it and claims that it's unsafe. We've got the full IA, and I want you guys to hear this. And I want you to hear about Officer Velez getting kicked off the range because he shoots at the wrong time.
This is Lieutenant Thomas Aiken. It is Friday, February 21st, 2025. For the audio, identify yourselves.
Officer Danielle Rivera, Charlie Platoon.
Kyle Totten, IU for Business Agent.
Thank you. A complaint has been made against you by Chief Manuel Marino to the effect that you, one, during not-fire training at the POPD range on 1/22/2025, were truthful with Sergeant Curt when he asked you if you completed the officer down rescue scenario, and you replied that you had already completed it. Two, you were insubordinate with Sergeant Curt on 1/24/2025 by stating that you were uncomfortable performing the training, that you were refusing to complete the training, and would, quote, take the write-up. During questioning, even if you do disclose information which indicates that you may be guilty of criminal conduct, neither your self-incriminating statements nor the fruits of any self-incriminating statements you make will be used against you in any subsequent criminal proceedings, except perjury. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the evidence and or oral statement that you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. For the record, state your name and ID number.
Danielle Rivera, 4808.
Okay, your rank and current assignment.
Patrol Officer, Charlie Platoon.
Okay, and length of service.
A little over 3 years.
Okay. So since this kind of involves two separate incidents, we'll talk about them separate from each other. So starting off with the training out at the POPD range on January 22nd. Tell me what the training involved, instructions you guys were given, everything about that day, and then kind of get to the point where Sergeant Curt and you had interaction.
Okay. So we were doing low light shooting training, and we started with doing some dry runs with our unloaded firearms. So that consisted of the handheld, the low, and using our flashlights. Then the last one was the police down scenario, our officer down scenario. So that was the one that I had some concerns on for safety concerns, and I did not do that one. We were told for that one we were going to start by running code to get out with our firearm, and we would go through each of the barrel where there was cover, and we would have to utilize that high handheld. And from there, you would see whatever the target or suspect or whatever was there. You would fire, then you would take the dummy, which had a vest and all that on it, that would symbolize the officer down, drag that to safety, put a tourniquet on, and then radio in.
Was this temple index carry, or I think you referred to it as a high carry?
Yeah.
Did they go over that with you guys?
Yes, that was the high carry I was talking about.
Okay. So they had everybody, including you, doing that with your weapon unloaded at the beginning, right? Okay. Had you ever done that before?
No.
Or did you say anything to the training staff
Not to the training
regarding
staff, no.
that?
No.
Okay. Did you say anything to anybody else at any point through that training?
So amongst the officers there was a lot of talk, where, and I don't remember specifically to who, however, there was a lot of talk with it amongst the officers ourselves, where we were all confused why we were doing that. A lot of us hadn't even heard of it, and were concerned for the fact that we were going to have our gun near our head where we could shoot ourselves.
Okay. When that particular carry method was shown to you guys, and they had you practice it, was it explained why you were being taught this?
No.
Why didn't you say something to somebody right, either at that point or at some point during the training?
I should have. I didn't. I said, like I said, there was a lot of talk amongst officers, but I did not go to one of the training officers and express how I felt. There was a lot going on at that time as far as, between the weather conditions and all of that, and I just didn't. So.
Okay. Tell me about that interaction between you and Sergeant Curt and what was said.
Okay, yeah. I wasn't present with the conversation between them, but I was sitting inside the shed area, and Sergeant Curt had came in, and he had asked, he was like, hey, Cardo's saying that you didn't go, did you go? And just sarcastically, I was just like, sure. And Andy had piped in and had said something to the phrase of, I believe she went, or something like that. And so Sergeant Curt was like, hey, so did you go? And I was like, sure, and kind of laughed, and he was like, okay, whatever, and he walked out. And that was pretty much the end of that conversation.
Okay. By saying the word sure, did you believe you were saying or answering that question in the affirmative? I mean, do you think you were?
Absolutely not. I mean, I was being sarcastic. I'm not going to sit here and portray it as anything other than that. I was being sarcastic. I was frustrated. Like I said, it was cold. I had a lot of concerns with going. I was frustrated with the entirety of the situation, and I was just being sarcastic about it. So.
From the interviews I did, I understand it was a pretty miserable night for
100%,
temperature and
100%,
all that.
Yeah. I'm sure no one wanted to be there, but we were there nevertheless. But my major concern was the fact that it was simply just not safe to do that. So.
Okay. Why didn't you take that opportunity right then to tell Sergeant Curt, hey, I am just not comfortable doing that particular carry in this scenario or any?
I was tired at that point. I was kind of in my old world at that, and I was just concerned for going, and I should have said something, and I didn't. So there's really no rhyme or reason to it. I just didn't.
I mean, it sounds to me you were just purely concerned about the safety aspect
Yeah,
of it.
that's really was my biggest concern. I wasn't thinking about really much in the way of anything else outside of that.
I may be able to help with what you're going at here in a second.
So, you guys, it sounds like shortly thereafter, training ended, everybody left.
Correct.
All right. So moving into Friday, tell me about the conversations you had with Sergeant Curt that day.
7:20ish, he had sent me a text message, and he had said, hey, meet me in my office. So went to his office, and he sat me down, and he was like, hey, it's been brought to my attention through training officers and then others that you didn't complete that training exercise. And I was like, no. I was like, I didn't feel comfortable doing it. I didn't complete it. I just found that it was completely unsafe to run around in the dark with your firearm near your head. And he was like, well, the next time I ask you a question, I need you to be completely honest with me. And I was like, I never lied to you. I was like, all I said was sure. I was kind of confused at that point. And he was like, this is what we're going to do. He turns around, points to his calendar, and he's like, on this date, I don't remember the exact dates, but he was like, on this date, you're going to come in at 1100 hours, stay to whatever time, and then you're going to go out to the range, complete the entirety of the training, and then come back in the next day at 7 for your regular duty shift. And I was like, no, I was like, I already told you I don't feel comfortable with the training. I'm not going to do it. it's not safe. And then at that point, he told me to get out of the office, and that was the end of that conversation.
Was there an explanation of the use of that? I mean, why? What the intended purpose for carrying the pistol in that manner up along the side of your head? Was there an explanation given to you guys regarding that?
No. As far as, I mean, we were told that we needed to do it in order to be able to move around more safely, per se. And like sometimes when you're moving, you can kind of do one of these numbers where you're moving your gun, but pretty much it was just that it needed to be here as you were moving along, just because it was safer.
Okay.
I guess in their eyes.
All right. Is that something, that particular temple index, is that something you would feel comfortable doing during your normal duties out on the road?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Okay. All right. But when you said sure to Sergeant Curt on that day, was it your intention to say something untruthful to him?
Absolutely not. Like I said, I was being sarcastic, and not even a way of trying to be disrespectful towards him. It was just my frustration with the situation.
Okay.
So.
All right. And regarding the Friday, during the interactions, I guess in the end, was it your intention to not follow direct orders being given to you?
No, sir. Again, I was concerned for my safety at that point, and I don't. One of my issues was that when we were sitting down in the office, he didn't address that issue. Then it was kind of like, well, this is what we're gonna do, and he didn't address it. It wasn't addressed until 9 o'clock when he had messaged that last email, and that's when I ended up calling him. So that's why I took it upon myself to go to Officer Cardo and have a conversation with him. And after my conversation with him, I felt more comfortable about it, because he was like, hey, this is the layout of what we're going to do. This is how we're going to modify it and make you feel safe. So I ended up going.
Okay. Do you have any questions for clarification?
I have a few for clarification. First off, just to the two main charges, I want to address those again. So you're charged with untruthfulness, departmental charge of untruthfulness, and they can take your certification for that. They have to report it, the findings, to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, Criminal Justice Standards Training Commission. It's an administrative code. They don't have a choice. You said you were not lying, that you were being sarcastic. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
If there had been any other questions asked about it, would you have clarified?
Yes, sir.
Was it your intention to mislead or somehow confuse the issue?
No.
Okay. Second thing I want to clarify is, ultimately you were ordered to go to the range by Sergeant Curt, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you ultimately complied with that order?
I did.
Okay. So you were told to go, the charge of insubordination is, you were told to go, you expressed your concerns, and ultimately you went, correct?
Yes.
All right. Now, when you're talking about your high position, I sent you a video, and I've also sent it to Lieutenant Aiken, and I did it so we'd have some consistency in discussion here, not because I believe that's the end all be all of this training program. But when we're talking about a temple index or a high carry, we're talking about having the barrel pointed straight up and down, and next to your head, with the palm of your hand, the meaty part of the palm of your hand, against the side of your head, above or behind your ear. Is that something like this?
Correct.
Okay. And when you say pointed down, with a downward position, are you referring to a position where you're right-handed?
Yes.
Where your left hand is pointed straight down around your belly button area, midriff, and your right hand is holding the firearm? Is the firearm in the back of that hand pointed kind of straight down like this?
We were told to do this.
Oh, cover it. Okay, cover the pistol
Yes.
while pointing straight down. Okay, that's a new one for me. Were you giving any explanations about why you would do that? That's kind of called was like a modification of something called Sul, S-U-L, which is south in Portuguese. Did you have any? Did they give you any explanation about why that was done?
I don't recall if they
Okay.
did or they didn't.
Did you discuss the difference between a carry position, like you carrying on the side of your head while your gun's out, and like a ready position? Are you familiar from the academy with low ready, where the firearm is pointed at a
Yeah,
45-degree angle?
Yeah, I'm familiar with that. I don't recall whether they went over
Okay.
all of that.
Okay. When you were doing it, did you have any problems maintaining a temple index?
Yes. So, as I was holding the firearm up, my hand was kind of drifting out this way. He kept having to tell me to put it close to my head.
Okay.
So that's why I ended up moving to the downward position. I don't remember what you called it.
That's fine. We understand what you're talking about.
Yeah, and I was at that point. That's where I knew I was like, no, this is not safe. I'm not going to do it.
What made you think that it was unsafe? What were you concerned about happening?
I mean, if I didn't end up tripping and falling and shooting myself, I could have potentially shot the trainer that was running next to me if my gun's pointing outwards.
Okay. Are you aware of any other incidents during training? And I don't want you to speculate. I don't want you to go into any depth, but just a yes or no. Are you aware of any other incidents with the Port Orange Police Department where there's been an accidental or negligent discharge during training?
Yes.
Okay. Was there any other new commands or new methods of doing things on the range, like maybe commands for a potential threat or a new command to shoot, or a verbal command that would make you shoot? Can you describe that?
Yes. When we were working mostly with our flashlights, we were told threat, and actually when we started that exercise, Sergeant Byrd was conducting it, and he had said threat and on two different occasions we both all of us ended up shooting, thinking that threat meant threat, take the threat out. And apparently gun meant take the threat out. Well, Officer Velez ended up getting kicked off the course because by that third time, he, like everybody else, we were all confused. Threat, take the threat out, and he ended up shooting and he was kicked off.
Is that was in past training experiences or past training or qualification incidents, or I shouldn't say incidents, situations, has threat been the, indicate that you should shoot?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And, a lot of people were talking about, or you indicate that several people during the training, several officers have raised concerns about this training and the temple index and that kind of stuff, and yet nobody brought it to the attention of the instructors. Did you feel comfortable talking to the instructors about their training or asking why?
No.
Why is that?
I mean, with that incident alone, and then just...
I mean, the guy get thrown off the ring?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then just everything else that was going on, I just didn't feel comfortable at that time.
Okay. Anyway, is there anything else that I've asked that you want to re-clarify to the lieutenant?
No.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Officer Rivera, has everything you said been the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Okay. I currently have about 18 hours. Thank you. This will conclude the interview.